What up, y'all? It's your friendly neighborhood indie rapper, Open Mike Eagle, and I'm a little pissed off. I was minding my own business, making rap music, streaming on Twitch, eating dry cereal out of a cup. I saw this tweet from Jermaine Dupri, and I had to put my cup down. What is this? What is this? This says, I'm a little lost. Can somebody tell me what the goal of being an independent artist is today? Because all of the things that people are chasing is shit major artists do. What's the thing that indie artists do to make it special? Now, look, I have a lot of respect for Mr. Jermaine Dupri. He used to dance with Houdini, and I love Houdini. They made One Love and Friends, and he got to dance with them for money. I have a lot of respect for the children's rap music. The children's rap music that Jermaine Dupri made. When I was a child, I really loved children's rap music. I came dangerously close to putting my pants on backwards because of the children's rap music that you made. Luckily, I didn't, but I came very close to it. So you get kudos for that because I wouldn't have had that thought on my own. I have a lot of respect for Jermaine Dupri as a label guy. He signed Escape. I kicked off my shoes and relaxed my feet and partied on down to the Escape beat. I did that. He signed Anthony Hamilton. I liked Anthony Hamilton a little bit. He used to sing soul in a trucker hat. It was very, very relatable. I like soul and I like hats. And while I do have a lot of respect for Jermaine Dupri, this is a very dangerous position for me because when I was in high school, right, I was known as a hip hopper. Now, there's a lot of things that meant. There were a lot of ways that was defined, but operationally it meant that I would break dance anywhere, like the lunchroom, concrete, the bathroom. I would break dance in the bathroom. I would chew on chew sticks. I don't even know what the fuck tree or bush them things came from, but I would chew on them. And what else it meant was that I really hated people who made music like Jermaine Dupri. Oh my God. Like if that song Money Ain't a Thing, if that song was a person and I was in high school and I saw that song, I would have punched it in the face. Like that's the kind of person I was. So this is a dangerous position for me because I'm really not trying to wake up the old me. I'm trying to be mature and objective and understand that people like different things, but I have old dark hatred inside of me for people who made bad music in that era. And this tweet is really dangerous for me, okay? Because respectfully, like I said, I have a lot of respect for Mr. Jermaine Dupri, but respectfully, this is a real stupid question. This is a real dumb question. Like, who would need to ask a question like this? Like, this is like a question that a record label would ask if a record label was a person and could ask you questions. That's what kind of question this is. This is like an old slave. This is like an old slave asking, well, what's the point of being free? Nowadays, it seems the goal of everybody who's free is to have food and shelter, just like us slaves. It's like I want him to be engagement farming with this question, but it sounds so sincere, but it can't be sincere because if it's sincere, that means there's something wrong with him. For anyone out there who's genuinely unclear about this, let's break it down, okay? It says, I'm a little lost. You're a little lost. You're lost? People who are lost have no idea which way to go. So you're telling me you have no idea why somebody would want to be independent? None. This is what I would ask of Jermaine. I would ask Jermaine to think of the worst record deal he's ever heard of. What's the worst record deal he's ever heard of? And I really hope he didn't give out the worst record deal he ever heard of. Okay, but then when he had that in mind, I'd be like, okay, now think of 5 more terrible record deals that you've heard of. And then he would have 6 terrible record deals in his mind, and I'd be hoping he didn't give out any of those terrible record deals. And then I would say, how many of those deals were independent? And he'd say, and I say, yeah, 0, exactly, none of them. But we don't even have to imagine. Look what I found. I found a list of some of the worst record deals of all time. Check us out. The worst recording contracts in music history. Badfinger. I don't know who Badfinger is. Badfinger signed to the Beatles' UK label Apple Records. Lacking any U.S. representation, they signed a separate management contract with a notoriously shady businessman named Stan Polly. Turned out to be the worst decision of the band's short-lived career. On becoming their manager, Polly quickly began taking advantage of Badfinger, drawing up a contract that meant all of their advances were paid directly into his bank account. This allowed him complete control of the band's finances, and Bandfinger, I think that's a typo, saw a little of the money they earned from record sales and live concerts. The contract crippled Badfinger, with frontman Pete Ham naming Polly directly in his unalive note. Little Richard and Chuck Berry. Early rock and roll labels knew how to give their artists a raw deal. The contracts may have sounded good at the time, but there's a sense that Chuck Berry and Little Richard didn't realize how successful their 2-minute recordings would be in the long run. Little Richard's 1955 song Tutti Frutti, for example, was a massive hit for Specialty, but his contract with the label meant that almost all of the profit went into founder Art Rupe's pocket. Rupe paid Richard just $50 for the publishing rights to the track, which landed the musician a half-cent for each record sold. Oh, he got a half-cent. He doing better than us. He got a half-cent. Spotify gives us a fraction of a penny. They're not buying it, but still, you figure with inflation and what happens with money that we will be doing much better than that. But we're not doing much better than this entry from the worst record deals in music history. Billy Joel. In 1971, Billy Joel signed a 10-album recording contract with Family Productions. You know who doesn't have to sign 10-album deals? Independent artists. Things started to go wrong almost immediately. Joel's first album, Cold Spring Harbor, was produced by label boss Artie Ripp, who managed to master the album at the wrong speed, giving Joel a squeaky falsetto. The singer asked for the album to be remastered, but Ripp claimed to do that would cost too much money and released it anyway. I don't have to go through that. The Stone Roses. In July of 1990, Manchester's The Stone Roses released One Love, their last original single for 4 years, with the band entering a long legal battle to terminate their contract with Silvertone Records. Under the terms of the contract, Silvertone had the right to license any merchandise it wished without the band's approval. The record label, if they wanted to, they could have made a t-shirt that said, "Fuck the Stone Roses," and the Stone Roses couldn't do a damn thing about it. It also included a clause stating that the Stone Roses were the property of Silvertone, along with the entire world and the solar system. So if they wanted to put out music on Mars, they couldn't, unless Silvertone wanted them to. I don't got to go through that. I could put out my music on Mars or Pluto or Uranus whenever I wanted to. Now back to this little raggedy ass tweet. Can somebody tell me what the goal of being an independent artist is today, because of all the things that people are chasing and shit major artists do? I hate he wrote this high or off of some 20-year-old basement Hennessy. What's the thing that indie artists do to make it special? Well, let me tell you my goal as an independent artist. It's pretty clear. It's to sell records and keep way more of the money, and to not be shelved, and to be able to put out my music anytime I want to. Is that clear? If it's confusing, I can say it again slower. But I think I understand what's happening here. According to Wikipedia, your father was a label exec. You grew up dancing with Houdini, who were on a major label. You started your own very successful major label. And the whole time you probably thought of independent artists like they were train hopping hobos with all their belongings on a bundle and a stick. And you thought to yourself, why would anybody do that? But it also means it is very likely that over the years, you've become very numb to all of the lives that have been destroyed by the major label system. Like if you were just to think to yourself, all of the talented people you've seen come into music that are either broke, strung out on drugs, or dead now, and think to yourself, how many of them people were independent? What's the thing indie artists do to make it special? Well, I can think of two things right off the top of my head. One, fucking dignity, bro. Like, what can I say? And two, you get to own your own masters. Duh. Like and subscribe, homie, friend. It's free. Stop playing.